everybody. My name is Lydia Nipper, and I'm the Nutrition and Health Specialist for Gasconade and Franklin counties in the East Central region of Missouri. Today for our quarantine cooking video, we're going to be making broccoli, macaroni, and cheese. This is a recipe that I love because my 4-year-old loves it, and I love it personally because it's an easy way to put vegetables into a meal that she already enjoys to make sure we're getting everything that we need. So we're going to go over the ingredients, the steps, and then also some substitutions that you can make to make this recipe a little bit more your own. But what I like to remind everybody that I practice in my own house before cooking, after I've ensured that I have all the ingredients that I need and the measurements, I wash my hands, fronts, backs, tops, and bottoms, and especially underneath my nails for 20 seconds with warm soapy water. And I also clean my workspace by putting away any materials that I don't need and wiping down the surfaces. This prevents cross-contamination should something be out and about. It'll prevent it from getting into my food or other food that I might make later. So let's talk about the ingredients of our broccoli, macaroni, and cheese. This recipe calls for 2 cups of uncooked elbow macaroni, and you can use whatever pasta you have on hand. Today I'll be using elbows because that's what I happen to have. Then it calls for 2 cups of milk, 2 cups of cheese, and here I have cheddar cheese with a little bit of Parmesan in there as well. About 2 cups of chopped broccoli, 4 tablespoons of flour, and we'll add some salt and pepper in at the end to taste. So for the sake of time today, I've pre-cooked my pasta, but whatever pasta you choose to use, you'll want about 2 cups of it uncooked beforehand, and then after you will want to drain the pasta after you cooked it according to the directions on the package. So here I have my pasta already cooked, and I'm going to put it back in the pan on the stove at about a medium heat. Now, if you need some help in the kitchen, make sure to ask an adult to help you with the stove or that you have permission to use the stove. It's very important to practice those safety measures. So I've turned my noodles back on to about a medium heat, and I need 4 tablespoons of flour. Here I have a little bit, but I wanted to talk today about measuring and some tips and tricks of measuring. It's always important to make sure first that you have the right measuring spoon. So here it says 1 tablespoon on my spoon. And whenever I do a scoop into the flour, you'll notice that it kind of goes above the line and there might be some dips and pockets in it. This is called a heaping spoon, but we want precise measurements. So I'm going to take a butter knife on the flat edge and just run it over, scraping off any excess back in. So as you can see now, there's no excess over the edge, and I have a solid measurement there of a tablespoon. I'm gonna put this in here and grab my spoon for stirring, and I'm just gonna take this and kind of sprinkle it in over my noodles, creating kind of a fine coating of it. And I'm gonna mix that in. Try to coat everything evenly so that each noodle has some flour, nothing sticking to the sides or to the bottoms, and mixing that around. So here's what it looks like with the powder on it, nice and fine, kind of like some ghost noodles. And again, my heat is at about a medium heat. So I'm going to take my milk, and here I have 2 cups of 2% milk because that's what my family had in the refrigerator. You can use skim milk, whole milk, any kind of variation. I just caution that if you're using, especially if you're using a milk substitute, such as a nut milk, soy milk, almond milk, make sure to ensure that it's not flavored. You would want an unsweetened, unflavored milk, or else your macaroni might come out tasting kind of vanilla-y. Should be strange. So we're just gonna slowly add that in a little bit at a time. Mixing it around. So as we're doing that, we're still ensuring that there's no macaroni stuck to the bottom of the pan or on the sides of the pan. whenever pouring any liquids, especially into a measuring cup, we want to make sure to use that same tip and trick of pouring, and also making sure that you're getting down, placing it on a flat, even surface like a countertop, and getting down on the level to make sure that the liquid actually hits the line that you're striving for. Whenever we're standing above, you might be at a different vantage point, which could lead to incorrect measurements, and then your recipe could either be too soupy or too thick, depending on which way it could be improperly measured. So it's very important to do that. So we're going to kind of let that come together a little bit as it's heating back up. Our other ingredients here, let's talk about the cheese that we have. So we have 2 cups of cheese, and this recipe calls for a cheddar cheese. Low fat, if you have it, as that reduces extra calories that we don't always need of those fat calories. I have a shredded cheddar, and a tip that I like to use, I like to add Parmesan to mine, because it gives it a good little bit of extra flavor without being too overpowering. If you like spicier cheeses, you could use a pepper jack. Add that in, would be excellent. But once this kind of starts coming together and heating up, give it another stir. And it should start thickening pretty quickly since we have that flour in there. I'll give you a little preview of what I'm looking at. Got the noodles, milk, flour. You can kind of see the heat coming off of it. Make that heat up. So once you can tell that things are heating up, you should see a little bit of steam rising off of it. You shouldn't see any boiling. If your milk is boiling, that means that it's too hot and it should be turned back down. If you're not seeing any steam after a little bit, maybe try notching it up just a little bit. Okay, so I've measured out my 2 cups of cheese, and I'm going to sprinkle that in. And I'm going to sprinkle in a little bit at a time, give it a few stirs, and then sprinkle some more. By doing that kind of in a layered effect and giving it time to break down and melt, we avoid lumps being formed and pockets of cheese. Sometimes pockets of cheese might be yummy to bite into, but pockets of noodles with no cheese wouldn't. So something I'm always reminding my daughter whenever we cook together is to keep your spoon flat on the bottom. If you don't, you could splash, and whenever we're working with hot stuff, that could lead to burns and injuries. So always make sure that you have a nice even stir and you're keeping your spoon flat on the bottom. All right, so I only have about a partial amount of my cheese coming together so far, and already you can see a nice creamy texture. Smells wonderful. So I folded in some and I stirred some. I'm going to fold in and stir some more. Trying to spread it evenly around. Nice and evenly there. Earlier I mentioned the flour. We had 4 tablespoons of flour in this, but there are also substitutes to flour if you don't have any handy. We use a lot of almond flour in my house, and almond flour works just as well. Of course, you'd want to be mindful of any tree nut allergies that anyone might have. Oh, that is beautifully creamy. Okay, and we have used our 2 cups there. Next, I mentioned we have about 2 cups of chopped broccoli. And this is just a freezer bag of broccoli out of the freezer section at the grocery store. Threw in the microwave, and then I personally chopped it up. You can leave the florets whole if that's more convenient. I like them in less than a bite size so that I don't feel like I'm eating a huge tree of broccoli in the middle of my macaroni. I think getting my daughter to eat the vegetable, it also makes it a little bit easier too, as it's not a big thing in the middle of it. So we're just going to add in a little bit at a time. Kind of doing like we did with the cheese, doing a light layer, mixing and folding it in, keeping this spoon nice and even on the bottom of the pan. Once it's all mixed in and coated, adding a little bit more until the whole 2 cups are in there. Now, I mentioned I used a freezer bag for this recipe, and a freezer bag actually contains more than 2 cups. I didn't have much use for leftover chopped frozen broccoli today, and my daughter actually really likes broccoli, so I went ahead and prepared the whole thing and threw it in. So you'll see mine might look a little bit greener than yours does, and it's perfectly fine. If you like your broccoli chopped and you don't want to spend the time to sit there with a knife, although it is good practice with an adult, you can also use things like a food processor to chop up the broccoli, and some brands actually carry the broccoli pre-chopped. So let's take a look now. We have all of our broccoli, all of our cheese, and all of our milk and flour in with the pasta. See the steam coming off of it. It smells awesome. So let's talk about salt and pepper. Salt and pepper are 2 pretty standard table spices that we keep around. Salt contains sodium, and sodium is something that people of all ages, regardless of pre-existing conditions, should be considered of eating in moderation. So anytime you're seasoning something that you're making, you always want to taste test it before seeing if it really needs the salt. And then if it does, if you feel like it does, use the minimum amount. You can always add more. You can never take the salt back out. You'd find yourself putting other stuff in, trying to balance that saltiness. So my daughter does not like pepper, so I'm going to actually leave that out of mine today and put it on mine in my own bowl. You can always add it back in after the factor. And then a little bit of salt, I'm going to leave that out too. But I wanted to talk about those as options to incorporate as the recipe does call for them. So it looks like our mac and cheese is done, and it has a beautiful texture. Folds in really, really nicely, nice and gooey, and it smells wonderful. Here is what our finished product looks like. Maybe not as appetizing in the pan, but it smells wonderful. But my favorite thing about this recipe is that just with macaroni, something people always have around, and frozen broccoli, which is a pretty easy vegetable to incorporate, there are a lot of other variations you can take on this recipe. If you need to make it go a little bit further, or you want to add some protein in so that it's a meal within itself instead of a side dish, you can easily add in some chicken, whether it's fresh, frozen. You can get a rotisserie chicken from the store, or even canned chicken would be great. Another great option, which is super cheap and very full of protein, is canned tuna packed in water. Now, with these, you always have to keep in mind any adjustments you make to a recipe, whether adding things in or taking them out, you're also adjusting the calorie count or the nutrition content of the recipe. This recipe yields 6 servings in the recipe, and let's go ahead and look at what the nutrition content is. So in each serving, that means that if we were to take our full pan and divide it up perfectly evenly between 6, that's how much 1 serving would be. A serving is the measurement. A portion is how much you actually eat. So somebody might eat a half of a serving or 2 servings. Whatever it is, calorie count is based upon that serving number, not the amount you actually eat. So for 1 serving, which is 1/6 of this dish, one serving contains 230 calories. Sorry, I had to look at that. 6% of which are fat calories. It does contain about 17% of daily sodium. So again, if you can avoid putting that salt in at the end, that can actually reduce that sodium back down. And one of the biggest benefits here is that it contains about 20% of your daily calcium intake. We know that calcium is really good for bones and teeth, and especially in developing kids, it's very crucial that everybody gets their daily recommended amount of calcium. So other versions of this, you can add in sausage or hot dogs, or taco meat is also really good in this. Always being mindful that any variation from the recipe, you're also adjusting the nutrition content. Thank you for joining me today. It has been fun cooking with you, and I hope to see you again. Bye-bye.